What's going on? What's going on? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right. So we're getting some people rolling in. We'll wait just a minute and we'll get started. All right. So there's some crazy stuff going on right now in the markets. Right. Let's get started. We have WISA yesterday, recent reverse split, and absolutely nuts, right? How do you catch this? I made a recap video, right? So I'm not gonna go in depth about WISA right now because we have some time to talk about today's runners, right? But we want to see this momentum carry out. And that's what we're seeing today, right? We have EDBL, which is a low. All these low floats are starting to get some volume. We have EDBL kind of made a move. We have INVO this morning. So how many of you are trading INVO this morning? How many of you are trading INVO this morning? Or just looking at it? How many of you? You guys traded it? You guys are just watching it? All right. Well, that's what I wanted to say. That this morning, we had some of the craziest action on INVO, and everyone is here catching it. How crazy is that? The market's not even open, and that's what I love to see. Market's not even open. We're here catching these. You guys can see everyone in Discord catching these plays, right? So how do you play this now? What's the plan for right now, right? So we played this with the team. I didn't play it, but the team caught it with our mentor. Now the next thing that I'm looking for here on INVO is obviously we're gonna mark out this downtrend break, right? So held this key level, flag here, right? And then boom, breakout. Now we're looking for pullbacks into previous highs. So the pullback zone right here would be here, right? Off of this wick and candle low, right? So either we continue higher, right? Maybe to like 240. Okay, if we continue to 240, then I would be looking for a dip down to like 1.6, like the top zone, 170. But if we struggle here, it just depends on the price action as well. But this is kind of what I'm looking for. I would like 160 a lot more, just because it's a safer entry, right? This is where we're gonna trap out more shorts, right? This is, if we see something like this, we could either see something like this, consolidate, chop a little bit, but hold the zone and then start to make higher lows, okay? We could see something like that. Or we just straight come down to this zone, consolidate, okay? And we see stop loss raid, bullish engulfing, and then start to trend out here. Okay, this is what I would prefer. This is the more cleaner setup. If we start to bounce just off this top zone, it's still not a bad setup. It's just that there's less liquidity, right? We haven't grabbed as many stop losses as we want to, right? So it's still going to be a lot of traders stuck in that trade. We want to kind of open up the trade. We want to, kind of get all those shorts out the way, all the longs out the way, open up again, right? This is so when the trade opens up again and not everyone's crowded, this is what we're looking for, under 160, right? So that's the plan on that. We'll see, but don't be chasing this. Don't chase this BS, right? No need to chase. Your plays will come to you. What happened with Wisa yesterday? We caught Wisa at 280. I did a recap video, so after this live, make sure you guys go watch, or after market open, whenever you're done trading. But we did a recap. We caught Wisa. It took an hour for us to just wait and sit on our hands until we found Wisa, right? So it takes time for these plays to come to you, but when they do, they pay, rather than just trying to get every little scalp into open, right? So be patient. You know that if you know in the back of your mind that if you're patient, you will have the best plays. Okay. Now we also have Wisa running today, right? So are we going to get a run on this again? What I would be looking for, let's see if there's anything on the daily, because we have room off of this previous high, right? So 855, 852. Right there. And then the candle close of that would be right here. So 779. That's a big range. That's a big range. So it's not like you could just add here at 850 and then keep adding dips down to 780. Like, you'll lose a lot of money unless you size properly, but I would rather just wait, right? So definitely down to one of these 850s. One thing I like about the 850 as well now is this zone. We're going to talk about market structure here. Okay. So you guys can see that there's a high here, right? There's a wick high right here on the Wisa yesterday. Once we break over now and pull back, what's the candle that actually broke this high? It's this one right here, right? Because it's aligned perfectly with it. That's the candle that broke the new high. So now we're going to look for a pullback into that same level, right? That works as well. So it's going to be this wick right here. And what would this be? This would be equal lows, because this is the candle that broke market structure. That makes sense? This is the candle that broke market structure. So the most important candle for you today is this one, to understand what's going on, right? This is market structure candles. That makes sense? So you look for a pullback here on Wisa, and then after we pull back and consolidate, what's something that you guys see? A wedge forming, a downtrend break forming. You could do something like that. You get still bodies. You can have two, either like that. There you go. So what I'm looking for is kind of set up into this. Boom, dip buy, and then breakout. Pull back and then break out. Right. That's what we would look for on Wisa. That would be ideal setup. All right. So once we see this playing out, then we're like, okay, sounds good. We're ready to take it. Is the plan clear here? Plan is clear. All right, now AGFY. AGFY. Not much going on the 5 minute, right? 5 minute, there's not too much on TradingView. It looks a little bit better on Webull because there's a little bit more volume there. But we'll drop down to the 1 minute. So what's going on here? First thing you guys notice. First thing we notice. We notice a wedge forming. All right, we see that wedge forming. So what candle, now doing some analysis on the 1 minute, what candle are we holding? we have a bottom right here, and then we double bottom right here, or make a higher low, right? So we have a low, and then we have a higher low. So right now we're uptrending from this area, right? So now we have a high, a lower high, a lower high, a lower high, and then now an equal high. Okay? So this is the selling resistance is getting weaker. Well, we have a double bottom still. It's not a, it's still grinding up on the double bottom or the uptrend here. So the support line that I see it holding is this one right here. This candle right here. Right? It has a wick down there. It candle closed below it, grab liquidity. Went below it, grab liquidity. So now this 44.8 level for us is going to be the biggest watch, right? 44.8 level is confluence with the trend line. Sounds good? Yeah, that makes sense. So this is what we're looking for in AGFY. Something. Now, what are some potential scenarios? We could, come down to this level like this. We could do that, right? Or we could just, boom, completely fade. So now that's why waiting for confirmation is so important. Into open, all the scenarios that we have been over, every single scenario could play out. Or it's just one of them plays out and takes all the volume. We don't know. We can't predict what's going to happen. We have to play on probabilities and likelihood, right? Same thing with patterns. It's all about likelihood. It's not that because there's a wedge pattern here, it's guaranteed to go either way. It's based on volume. It's based on probability. There's so many other factors. The daily chart, liquidity, right? There's so many other factors in which you have to take into account. So just wait into open, see where the volume goes, and if the plan starts playing out, then we can start to take next steps to follow that plan. All right. EDBL. All right, so I don't like I like the range here, but I don't like the 5 minute, right? It's super extended. It just made a massive move from here to here on 5 minutes. This is VWAP here on Webull. Super extended. Now, if we're looking at, let's compare a few things. All right, let's compare WISA. Let's look at yesterday. All right, the charts aren't on this line. The drawings are not on this one. But what did we go over? We saw the big supply zone, right? A zone that, okay, we have a wick and then a massive move down, right? So that's our supply zone. A wick up, massive move down. That's our supply zone. We broke over, we flipped into support right here. Make sense? Super easy, super clean, super simple. I go over it in the recap, so you guys can go watch that later to get a more in-depth understanding. Supply zone, a wick right here, makes a move down. We break over the supply zones. That means we take out all the liquidity right here, pull back into it, make that move up, make it support now. Same concept on EDBL right now, right? The candle that made the new low, or the candle that made the big move down, is right here. Except on EDBL, we have yet to break over it like WISA, right? Right now, EDBL is rejecting this. It came up into it, rejecting it. WISA has so much strength where it broke over, pulled back, and went next leg. Right now WISA did this. That's what WISA did. Right now on EDBL, we're just doing this. Okay. So we'd look for some sort of pullback into here. Maybe, oh, right here. What's it right here? Pull back into EDBL off this wick, right, which is 555 to 565. Would watch it in there. Where I like the range here. All right, I love the range. I love stocks with range. They can halt up fast, low floats. This is only a 300K float, right? So, yeah, what would I consider confirmation? It coming back into the zone and having less selling pressure than buying pressure. Like selling pressure is cooling down while buying pressure is stepping in. That's what I would like to see. Okay. What does range mean? Okay. Range means from 518 to 788. That's the day's range, right? So you see how it's moving? Once it moved from 780 all the way to 530, or 780 to $6. That's $1.80. That's a big move in 2 candles, right? But it's not like the stock was done after that. It still went up a little bit and then had even more room to come down. So from 780 to 530, so much more room right there, right? That's a massive move down. Now we've bottomed out from 530, made a move all the way to 630. That's $1 move from after coming from highs. We went all the way to lows and made $1 move back up. That's pretty crazy. Now, that's what I mean by range. Does that make sense? When it moves in like $1, 50 cents, right? It doesn't move in like 10, 15 cents. It likes to move because it's a low flow. That makes sense? Does that explain what a range is? All right. How do you find a demand zone? Okay. You guys have not been watching the YouTube videos, but it's fine. How do we find a demand zone? Well, for example, like I just found this level on EDBL, a demand zone is where you have a wick and then a massive move up. So there's untouched liquidity right here. There's untouched orders. So this would be a demand zone, right? It made a massive move up, but there's no wick, but still this area would still be a demand zone. One thing to look for is when supply flips into demand automatically, right? When supply is taken out, that's what I love to trade. I trade demand into demand as well, but when old supply switches into demand, it's fresh. That's the most fresh play you can get, right? That's the most earliest you can get in. Right here when it flips from supply, confirmation break over candle close, right? On these, once you pull back into it, that's the freshest you'll get. Second pullback, super fresh, and then right, it gets weaker on each pullback. As well, this one didn't, but usually, typically, you get weaker on each pullback, and then. But as soon as old supply, right, which is the wick that made a massive move down, same thing on EDBL, the wick that made a massive move down, supply, right? How to mark supply. You guys see that? How we're marking out the supply? Same thing here. There's supply here, meaning there's just seller sitting here. Boom, seller sitting here. Once we broke over the supply, we flipped into demand. Boom, next time to this level. Bang. That make sense? You can use the candle later before, but I just prefer using the wicks. There's no exact definition for supply and demand, right? When people say order blocks, yeah, maybe order blocks, but there's no exact definition. It's of what you see, um, and how you interpret it and what works for you, right? So this is what works for me, and this is what I preach, and it works for everyone. So I'm glad to see that. What else is there on the watch? We'll go over one more. CXAI is just trading in a range. It might break out. We'll see. All right, let's go to the daily chart on INVL. JAGX. All right, you want to see JAGX? What's going on with JAGX? Looks like a lot of people made money here. We had one of our Discord members make about 10K on this. Christian, shout out Christian. Said it was the biggest day that he's had in his trading career on JAGX. So that's awesome. Anyway, what do we see on JAGX? Let me see. All right. So you guys see that uptrend here on JAGX, right? The uptrend here on JAGX, we are now breaking it, right? This is still the 5-minute, but it's still valid, right? We have an uptrend. We broke below it. Now, typically what you see after breaking an uptrend is you're going to get a fake retail pop, right? Or a fake market maker pop to trap retail. Retail is us, me, you, right? So we're going to get a fake pop for something like, it's going to come down here. It's going to grab liquidity below this low, right? It's going to pull back, touch this trend line again, and probably come back down. That's what I'm thinking, right? That's off the 5-minute though. So let's look at the daily chart. Let's look at some levels from the daily. What are we looking to hold? So we have a high volume candle right here. We always talk about high volume key levels, right? High volume key level right here, which is the high. So I would look for just simply this previous high to flip into support, right? Super high volume. I think that has higher probability. That has high probability. Okay. So same concept would still, okay, this demand zone worked yesterday as well. Now what we would want to see today is, right, we broke the uptrend. We broke the uptrend that we have here. So now, in order to create a new trend, you want to see it kind of double. You want to see either pull back into this, right, kind of double bottom and start to uptrend, right? So that would be our uptrend line. But you want to see it come down to this zone. I wouldn't really take it without at least touching the top zone, because we broke the uptrend here, right? You guys see the uptrend, we broke below it. We're rejecting it. Now we could technically be making higher lows here, right? If this level holds up though, we're not sure, right? So there's a lot of speculation here. We just kind of have to see what happens first to play out the chart, all right? But I would say this zone right here from 1632 from the daily to 1404 is probably your best bet. Your safest bet. All right? Any questions? What questions? We'll take some questions now. Hooray. Even if I say Wisa has, all right, I don't think Wisa is going to 20, but I don't care if it does. All right, this is an overextended play that the people who are chasing are building bad habits, right? The people who are chasing this play, they're building bad habits unless you're actually taking a nice trade setup, right? Like we said earlier. Where is it? If you have a nice trade opportunity, like we mentioned on Wisa, break out of this, retest into the support line, and then make that move up, sure. But if you're just looking to buy high day breaks and, just hold for 20, that's a bad mentality. Overall 20, don't know, not really sure. I don't think so. But in the case it does, just play the momentum, right? Don't have that in the back of your head that I'm stuck to 20, because I've done that, and I've seen a lot of traders be stuck in that mindset of this has to go to 20 now, right? Like the whole world is watching it. It must go to 20. The market is not obligated to do anything. Ferris, it all depends. The question was, in this market, how much time do you think it would take for a new trader to become profitable? It all depends on the trader, right? There's luck involved, there's timing, and there's timing involved, which trades you take, right? It all, like, you could have an A+ setup strategy on Wisa but miss it, which slows down your profitability rate, right? By 3 weeks maybe, because if you took this trade, then it would have compounded. No one knows, right? So it could be that you can become profitable in 6 months if you actually take your trading psychology seriously, if you actually understand yourself, if you start understanding the market, and not that it's just the market's against me, because the market's against everyone. They're trying to make money. Everyone's trying to make money, right? So if you're playing against the most advanced algorithms in the world, right? They're spending $100,000s a month just to get executions like this, pull out orders, cancel them, just to see how the market's doing, just to test the market liquidity. And most traders in here probably don't even know about that, right? Most traders probably don't even know about that they spend that much money on just algorithms and just they put out orders, they cancel them, test the liquidity, fake out, see where the buyers are. They have other things. They can see liquidity. So when you have your stop loss order and it always gets hit, it's because they can see it. And if there's enough liquidity down there with other retail traders with enough stop losses at this level, they're going to come, hit the stop losses, grab your liquidity, and make the move up. All right? And that's what I teach right here in Links, right? So join that. We're about to go on live trading right now. You guys check it out. It's for free. It's 7 days for free. We have a course for you. We have everything that you need. We killed Invo before the market even freaking opened, right? So now imagine what's going to happen in market open. You guys check it out for free. Keep tuning into the streams. So much education. I hope you guys learned something. You guys see Wisa playing out perfectly right here. I still wanted it back in the zone because that's the safest entry. But we'll see now on live trading what happens. And we'll be patient. Make sure to stay patient for those entries to come to you. I'll see you guys on Friday on YouTube live stream. Make sure you guys subscribe, drop a like, and I'll see you guys. Peace.